Hi, I'm Nina and welcome to another chair yoga video. In this week's class, we'll continue to work to protect and strengthen our lower back. One visual we're going to use is imagine we've got a metal hat on our head and a magnet on the ceiling. How does that affect the way you sit tall? Grab your chair, grab your imaginary metal hat, and we'll get started. We'll get started as we always do. We'll connect our feet to the earth and we'll sit back in the chair. And let's remember to put on that imaginary metal hat, and it's reaching for the magnet overhead, or maybe the magnet's reaching down. Either way, we've got this nice long spine, palms are down. Tune into your breath. Take a moment to slow it down and lengthen it, evening out both the inhales and the exhales. And as you continue with that breath, take a moment to notice how the body feels today, identifying any areas that might need our special attention. Then we'll bring both palms to heart center. We'll take a moment to set an intention for this practice, whatever's important to you today. And then gently release those hands back down to the lap. We'll move forward to the edge of our chair. So I'm going to push that prop away. I'm going to connect my feet to the earth now. Hands on top of my thighs still. And still feeling that length in the spine, that extension of the crown of the head to the ceiling. And let's bring a little bit of movement into the spine with a little bit of a cat and cow. Let's make it a small cat and cow, just enough to bring movement into the spine. So we'll inhale, fill up, and exhale, round. And these aren't big movements. These are small movements today. Just noticing what it feels like to work in this smaller range. And begin to tie the motion to the breath. And we'll do about 3 more rounds of breath like this. And after your next exhale, whenever that is, let's just come back to that nice tall spine with your imaginary hat on. We'll release those hands down by the side. Just kind of give them a little shake. Imagine you're in water or something and just kind of twirling it around, letting the elbows, letting the movement go even into the shoulders. And if we're making circles this way, we know we're going to want to make them the other way as well. So do that. Yeah, feels good. And then just pause, let the hands rest back on your lap. Let's take a few circles with those shoulders now, just very specifically working into the shoulders, letting the hands kind of follow along on the thighs. They don't have to be still. We know we're all connected. And then pause, notice how things feel. How's it feel to bring a little bit of movement into that body? Let's take our knuckles now and just kind of give ourselves a little rub on the lower back. If your hands don't reach back there, do it to the hips. Notice what it feels like to release some of that tension that resides in our fascia. So we'll do this for about 10 more seconds, just a little self-massage. Kind of getting all over. And then just pause, let the hands rest in your lap. Notice how that feels on the back. Maybe a little more movement, a little more space. Okay, and then we'll get started with our flow series today. As always, when we work, we don't want anything to hurt. So So don't do anything that would harm you. Just be very aware of it. We're going to be circling our arms up, and we know that we have choices, right? We can take them straight up, keeping those shoulders down, or we can always come to a cactus or something more comfortable for ourselves. You decide. The first part of the sequence is 3 sun breaths. So we'll release those hands down by the side. We have that connection with the earth. We'll inhale, circle sweep the arms up. Exhale, float them back down. 2 more. Your breath might be faster or slower than mine. That's okay. And then just pause, put the hands back in the lap. Now we're going to do a swan dive. And of course this will be modified because we're sitting on a chair. But we'll circle the arms up, and as we exhale, we'll hinge forward, float those arms down like we're doing a swan dive. Now I'm not going down to the ground. I've just got this nice long spine. I'm going to keep that chin tucked, and then the inhale is going to take me back up. Let's do that again. Exhale, swan dive. Push into the feet. Inhale, come back up. Let's do one more like that. Swan dive, practice it. Inhale, take the arms back up, and this time we'll bring those palms together and down to our heart. We've got this. Okay, next inhale, we'll push the fingers away, lengthen the arms, and open them wide. That's all the inhale. As we exhale, we bring the palms back together and to the heart. We'll do 2 more. Inhale. Maybe when you open, you lift your gaze. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. From here, we'll reach the arms forward and up. That'll be our inhale. And you'll notice my hands separate. And then we'll go back to a hinge, reaching our arms back. So it's that same hinge forward. My feet are engaged. My core is engaged. Inhale takes me back up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, come on back up. We'll do 1 more just to practice. And then reach those arms up. Float them back down into your lap. Now, when we're doing those hinge forward, it's the exhale. And let's think about bringing that belly button back to help support that lower back. Okay, now we're going to do that whole sequence tied together with a bow. Feet are on the floor. Take a moment before we start to notice how your body feels in this, our seated mountain pose. Release the arms down by your side. When you're ready, we do 3 sun breaths. Inhale and exhale. Don't forget about that long spine. Okay, now we're going to do 3 swan dives. When you're ready, the inhale takes us up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Think about that belly button going back. Inhale. We sit up tall. There's that magnet. 1 more swan dive like that. Next time the arms are overhead, we bring the palms together on the exhale and down to the heart. Now, inhale, push the palms away and open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now arms reach forward, separate this time, lifting up, and as we exhale, we hinge forward, reach the arms back. Belly button goes back to support the spine. Notice the connection to the earth. Our next inhale, we'll take the arms up. And then let the hands float back down to your lap. Pause here and notice how things feel. So that steady breath, that steady movement with poses designed to strengthen our lower back, strengthen and support that lower back. How do we feel now? Because we're going to do it all standing next. I've made my way to standing, I've cleared my floor, and I'm going to keep this chair close by because we are going to use it today. But we're going to do that same sequence, this time standing. Of course, we can always use our fingertip control on our chair back. If we don't need it, we don't have to use it, but it's just kind of nice to know it's there if we need it. So let's first come to our mountain pose. In this case, our feet are about 1 fist apart, maybe a little wider. These are my hip bones. My feet are coming right out, right underneath those hip bones. Toes are straight ahead. Got my imaginary metal hat on, so I'm standing as tall as I possibly can. Let's just try that sun breath first. I'm going to step back a little bit just so the chair's not in my way. Let's do 3 sun breaths. Inhale, circle up. And exhale, float it down. Again, you can be facing that chair back, using it to help support you at any time. And then pause. Now, we know our next sequence is that swan dive. So we're going to circle the arms up, and then as we exhale, we're going to float the arms down, let the hips go back. Take a swan dive. Long spine. Inhale, take it back up. Exhale, swan dive, come forward. Let the hands rest on the back of the chair. Let's try one more like that. And come on down. This time we take the arms up, we let the palms touch, we bring them back to heart center. Let's just do one round of this. Inhale, reach out, open. Exhale, close and back to heart. Okay, now the next sequence in the series, we reach the arms forward and up, and this time we sit the hips back. So let's bend the knees, sitting into our imaginary chair. We can keep the hands right here, we can reach them back. We inhale, reach up. Exhale, take it to your imaginary chair. So you see my knees are bent, my hips are back, my spine is still long. One more like that. Sit back into your imaginary chair. Arms can be anywhere. And then come on back up. Okay, so those are all the little component parts. And now we're going to tie them all together and do that same sequence standing. We did it seated. We know this. We have the chair if we need it. We move at our own pace. Your breath might be faster or slower than mine. That's wonderful. Okay, finding your comfortable mountain pose. You feel stable here. You might have that chair available to you if you need to touch it. Good thing. Notice how you feel. When you're ready, 3 sun breaths. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, take it down. Tall spine. That imaginary hat is reaching for the magnet in the ceiling. Okay, the next part of the sequence is the swan dive. So we reach the arms wide. This is our inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Legs are pretty straight. We don't have to go down very far. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, hinge forward. Now my legs are straight, but they're not locked. I can soften my knees if that feels better. Lift up. Hinge forward, swan dive. Lift up, palms touch. Hands come to heart. 3 of these. Inhale, push the arms away, open. Lift the gaze, lift the chin. Exhale, come back. I'm going to turn a little bit so the wall's not in my way. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, this next part of the sequence, the arms separate, reach up, As we exhale now, we sit back in our chair, knees bend. We can bring the hands to the back of the chair seat. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach up. Exhale, sit back, imaginary chair, and you can take your arms back if you feel stable here. One more like that. Push into the feet, come all the way up. Float your hands back down. How does it feel? Just notice, how's the breath right now? How do things feel in the body? That steady movement tied to the breath. Okay, let's work with a little bit of Warrior One now. We'll step back with either leg. You know we're going to do both, so don't worry about right and left. Just worry about which leg you have in front and which one is in the back. Stepping into your Warrior One, again, we can use this chair, hands to hips, just to kind of remind you, these hips need to be pretty level. My front knee is bent, it's over my front ankle, my back heel is down. It's a very stable position, and I also have this chair if I need it. Let's bring hands to hips, and now we've got our magnetic hat on, or our metal hat and our magnet on overhead. Get as tall as you can there. From our hips down, we're going to stay the same. We're going to be still, but we're going to use our arms. As we inhale, we're going to take those arms up. As we exhale, we're going to take them into a cactus with those palms forward. I'm just going to turn and face the screen here. Our next inhale will bring the pinkies and forearms together. As we exhale, we drop the arms down. Inhale, take them up. Exhale, cactus with those palms forward. Inhale, pinkies, forearms touch. Exhale, extend the arms down. Let's do one more like that. And now we'll take the arms up into our Warrior One, and we'll stay here. Your arms might be here or here. Here, you decide where your Warrior One arms are today. We're going to stay for about 3 more breaths. Let's bring our hands back down to our hips, and let's step forward, stepping that back foot forward. Take a moment to pause and notice how things feel. And now we'll step back with the other leg. So just switch sides. You know you can keep that chair in front of you for that fingertip control. I'm just going to turn and face the camera so that we can see better. We find our Warrior One. We put our hands on our hips just to remind us where they are, how they feel. We have a little space between the legs like we're on skis, not a balance beam. And we know that from hips down, everything's pretty much still. We also know that from hips up, we've got that nice tall spine, crown of the head reaching for the ceiling. Arms come down. The inhale reaches the arms up. Exhale, cactus, palms forward. Inhale, pinkies, forearms touch. Exhale, release down. Following that same sequence, and the next time that the arms are up, we stay in our Warrior One. Breathing here, building that strength. Crown of the head is still reaching for the ceiling. Then let's bring our hands back down to the hips. Let's step the back foot forward. And let's pause and notice how we feel, releasing those arms down. How does that feel? Okay. Now we're going to stand next to the chair. So the chair is to my side. The leg that is next to the chair is going to be the moving leg. The arm that's away from the chair is going to be the moving arm. So we're going to do a little cross body movement here. As we inhale, let's take that outside arm up. As we exhale, we float the arm down, lift up that knee. Inhale, arm lifts, leg lowers. Exhale. So we're just working on one side. Inhale. Exhale. So my knee is bent, my foot is flexed, it's very active, and this entire time I'm thinking about that length in the spine. Now this next time that the knee is lifted, we're going to stay there. So let me just turn to the side so you can see. I've got a lot of right angles here happening. My option at this point is to extend that outer arm again. Breathing here, lengthening that spine. You might decide to release the arm from the chair. You can bring both hands to heart. A lot of choices here. Just working to develop that balance. We'll stay for one more breath. And then we'll put that foot back down, float the arm down if it's up. Pause and take a moment to notice how that feels. Now I'm going to move my chair. You might just be turning around. Same thing. The leg that's next to the chair, that's going to be the leg that lifts and lowers. The outside arm is the one that moves. So let's give this a try. Come to your mountain pose. Inhale, take that outside arm up. As you exhale, float the arm down and lift the knee. Flex that foot, keep it active. So we've got a lot of stuff happening. Not only are we going cross body, but we've got the arm going up when the leg goes down. The next time that we have that knee up, we'll keep it there. And then decide where you want your arms to be. You can have that arm up. That might be a nice way, a nice counterbalance. You could take both arms to a cactus or to your heart. All of these are good ideas. Find what's the best one for you today. And on your next exhale, float the leg down, float the arms down if they're lifted. Pause here for a moment. Notice how things feel. Okay, now we're going to turn and face the seat of the chair. Facing the seat of the chair just to bring some symmetry back into the body, right? Let's make our feet a little wider than our hips. A comfortable stance. These are my hip bones. My feet are definitely on the outside of that. This will be the stance. Think about that magnet overhead in my hat, my metal hat, trying to connect, right? We find all that length, and then we'll hinge forward, hinge forward. Pause halfway, pause here. My fingers are on the chair, that's fine. Take another breath. See if you can make it longer. And then exhale, bringing those palms down, tucking the chin, finding all of that length in the spine. So this is just a wide-legged forward fold, bringing some symmetry back into the body. Breathing here. You don't need to drop your head. Just keep this nice long spine. And then soften into those knees. One at a time, bring the hands to the thighs. Push into the feet. Come on back up to standing. And we'll bring those feet back together. Do a little wiggle, a little jiggle if that feels good. And we're going to make our way back to our chair now. We're in our chair, but we're still sitting on the edge. Feet are on the floor. That block is out of my way. We're going to do that sequence one last time, just to kind of make sure we have it here. Sit up tall, put on your metal hat, turn on the magnet overhead, release the arms down by your side. So before we do anything, notice how this feels. Let's do 2 sun breaths. Inhale and exhale. Now, 2 swan dives. Arms reach overhead and palms touch. Exhale, takes them back to heart. Inhale, open. And exhale. Open. Exhale. Arms separate. We reach up. We reach those arms back in our imaginary chair. On our real chair. Reach the arms up. At this time, we'll bring the palms together and back down to heart center. Let's release those hands down into the lap. Pause for a moment, notice how that feels. We'll grab our support. We'll connect to the earth. We'll sit back in our chair. Let's turn the palms up. Soften or close the eyes. Notice how you feel now. Notice what the breath is like. Notice the shoulders, the hips, the lower back. We'll bring those palms to heart center again. And just take a moment to recall that intention. And then gently blink open the eyes if they're closed. Release the hands, wiggle the fingers, turn the hands at the wrists. Bring some movement into the head and neck. Circle the shoulders once or twice. And then sit up tall with that imaginary hat on. Finding all of that length in the spine. And thank yourself for taking time today to practice yoga. And as always, thank you so much for allowing me to guide you. It is an honor to be here. Take good care, my friends. I will see you soon.